Am I the idiot for contacting my estranged sister? I, 17, female, have an older sister, 22, female. My parents had her when they were teenagers and they have never been good to her. They are good to me. They both screamed at her for everything and they both pressured her a lot. She was a model, so mom was obsessed with her looks and what she ate. Dad constantly pressured her with school. I was not good either. I was always ruining her stuff, even expensive ones. I would scream at her. I made fun of everything she liked. My parents encouraged it. My sister was always good to me. She would make sure I eat healthy and help with homework, even when she was sick or tired. She'd stay with me when mom and dad had fights as I would get scared. She took the blame for everything I always did, but it was hard and the relationship with my parents got really bad after they blamed her for something awful, so she left a while later when she became an adult. Things weren't okay between us either, but she told me to contact her if necessary. She is now very successful, travels a lot, has money, a nice boyfriend, friends and fans. She had always wanted a sister, and I know she had asked for one for Christmas and for her birthday before I was born. Whenever we saw sisters in movies or stuff, she would say it was us. I constantly told her that she wasn't my sister. Well, our parents had a baby recently, a girl. They had couples therapy the past years and are okay now. I spent months thinking, but I decided to contact her, apologize and tell her everything. She was furious. Literally for the first time ever she screamed at me and said lots of real mean stuff, then said I should not have told her anything. I'm confused. We sucked, I know that, but was I really bad in contacting her for this? I feel like it was important. Now for a few comments before the update. You're the idiot. Seriously? This is the reason you decide to call her years after she left the house? To tell her that your idiot parents decided to not only get therapy after they estranged their eldest daughter, and I'm assuming they never bothered to contact her after they seemingly got better, but they also decided to have another baby who is 95% meant to be a replacement for your sister? The last time she saw you, she asked you to contact her if you needed anything, because despite how shitty you and your parents treated her, you are still her little sister, and she doesn't want you to end up on the streets. Aside from that, she would have been way more happy if you just left her alone and didn't bother to tell her such things. Comment 2. Did you contact her with the sole purpose of telling her she now has a sister? You said she always wanted one before you were born, but then you were born and brought up to scream at her, bully her, and tell her over and over that you are not sisters. This is not your fault but your parents. So she probably doesn't want one now. What was your intention with telling her this? Then the original poster responded with, I know she probably does not want to rebuild the relationship, and it's okay, but I thought she should know that there's somehow another chance, if that makes sense. She has a new baby sister and mom and dad are okay. If she ever wishes to come back, she can start all over again. Now that I say it here, it doesn't sound good. Now for the update. I read everything people on here told me. I had private messages too, but I stopped reading after a few cruel ones. I got told that I should contact my sister to apologize and then that I should leave her alone. Everyone agreed that I am the idiot, and after reading everything I got told, I see why. I did contact my sister again as I was planning on visiting her city with my best friend's family, and if she wanted to talk. She replied days later and I saw her. I had to swear not to tell our parents, and I would not go to her place. Everyone was right. I was an idiot, but also I was stupid. I didn't think things right. My sister told me that when I called her she was already in a bad mood as she was really sick and needed to be okay for the next day, so me calling her kind of made everything worse and stressed her more. She apologized for screaming. Like you all told me, it made her feel like everything got better because she left, which was not my intention, but I see it now. Our baby sister also has a close birthday to her, so it obviously feels like a replacement, even if my intention was not that when telling her. She asked if I understood how bad what mom and dad told her the last time they saw her was, and I had never really sat and thought about that until that day. I now don't really know what to do when I think about them. She is not in therapy anymore due to a real bad experience, but she has two things, PTSD and BPD? I think, but also has now a bit of an okay relationship with food and other stuff. She says everything is under control. She told me how she already had a sister before the baby, me. How she felt super jealous when she saw her friends with their sisters. How she has a hard time when her favorite singer posts about her sister, and about how she feels embarrassed that she never has family go watch her or support her at work, while everyone else does. Her boyfriend and friends are amazing, but she feels really alone. She asked about my life but asked me not to mention our parents. She asked to see our baby sister, so I showed her a few videos. It was really hard and I felt super guilty. We talked for a few hours. Everyone around here was right and I should have known better. She says she was never really mad at me. She gave me her assistant's number and told me to only call in real emergencies. If I'm sick, I have no place to live, I need food or stuff for school, our sister needs something, but to please never contact her directly ever again and to not tell our parents. She said when I turn 18 if they know anything I would get in trouble. I was expecting maybe she would call me for Christmas, but she didn't. Which is fine, I don't deserve it. On her Instagram it seems like she had a good time. There's more but character limits, so yeah? That's the update. Comment 1. I'm glad you reconnected. I am sad she never wants to hear from you again as the bond between sisters is so important. I understand how easy it is to make mistakes. Be selfish and not recognize how what your parents said hurt her to the core. I hope you are never without food, shelter or stuff for school. I don't think it was right for her to threaten you with an NDA if your parents find out, possibly a lawsuit, but I understand her need for privacy. You've lost your older sis, but don't give up. Someday maybe you can repair the relationship. Until then, I'm sorry, love on your baby sis. Then the original poster responded with, I think she only threatened with that because she really is terrified of our parents, and she doesn't want them to know where she is. Comment 2. I'm glad you both were able to sit down and have a conversation. Make sure to abide by her request to tell your parents nothing and to respect her boundaries. Work on yourself, figure out who you are and what kind of person you want to be. And maybe in time, once you are out of your parents' house and a bit more mature, there will be an opportunity for you to reconnect and try to build a relationship. Comment 3. You're the idiot. Wow, you really just don't get it, do you? Your sister made it clear that she doesn't want anything to do with you or your parents. And yet, here you are, still trying to insert yourself into her life. You clearly have no respect for boundaries. Your sister had every right to be furious with you for contacting her and dredging up all those painful memories. It's not your place to decide what's important for her to know. You say you were confused, but it's clear that you're just incredibly self-centered. Your actions were selfish and inconsiderate. You don't deserve her forgiveness or a place in her life. Leave her alone and stop trying to justify your behavior. It's time for you to face the consequences of your actions and learn from this. Now, for the next story. Am I the idiot for pressuring my family to get my grandpa out of the nursing facility faster? My grandpa has mild dementia and is currently in a nursing home. When we first were putting him in this care facility, my grandpa wouldn't agree to go. He refused. He is mentally there enough that doctors have to listen to him, and my grandma couldn't override it. My family asked me to convince him to go because he will basically do anything I ask. I convinced him to go for just a week. That is all he would agree to. He is in the facility because he became very weak recently, which is in part because he has a bladder infection. He will be on antibiotics for at least another week or two, so my family doesn't want him to leave until he's finished. Also, he can't really walk. They're trying to fix it in the nursing home, but he barely eats, so I don't know how he's supposed to build any muscle. So my family needs to find an in-home caregiver before he can come home. I feel like my grandpa is getting worse mentally in the nursing home. It pains me to see him in there. He has cried when I visited him twice in the last week, and I have never seen him cry. I know he thinks we are going to abandon him there. I have been pressuring my mom to get him out sooner because at this moment there is no for sure date to get him out. I feel so guilty that I told him a week and that week is up now, but he's still in there. My mom says he needs to be in there to finish his antibiotic and get stronger. In my opinion, my family should be working on finding in-home care for him, and they haven't tried at all, which makes me worried he will be there extra long. Theoretically, everything they are doing at the facility they could be doing at home if they had an in-home nurse. So, am I the idiot for wanting to get my grandpa out even though he isn't stronger yet and hasn't completed his antibiotic? Edit. Thank you to everyone who has responded and talked to me about the realities of the situation. I understand he may need to stay in the nursing home if his condition ends up being unmanageable. My family, as far as I know, they also told the care facility this, is intending to take him home once he is done with treatment, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens. I'll stop pressuring my mom and try to create a more open dialogue with her and my grandma instead so I can be more in the loop of what is happening. Thank you all again. Update: if anyone looks at this again, we're planning on 24 hours in home care starting October the 2nd. We will take down the hours if possible, but yeah. Like I said, they can afford it, and that's what they were planning to do. Now, for a few comments before another update. What I think you need to understand is that home care isn't the same as a nursing home. The extra labor falls on the family. Are you going to take the night shift with your grandfather? Are you going to clean him up when he soils himself, chase him down the road when he wanders outside without pants on, and calm him down if he has a tantrum? Dementia is terrible, and it's also very hard on the carers. Even with in-home nursing, it's intense. Are you going to put your life on hold to take this on? Comment 2. No idiots here. The reality of caring for an elderly person with dementia is brutal. It might be best for him to be in a nursing home where there is round-the-clock care. A home health aide cannot provide that care. And neither can family members. 24/7 at-home care is extremely expensive, and the reality is that most people can't afford it. Don't know if you are in the US. Has your family looked at an assisted living facility? This is a step down from a nursing home if your grandfather isn't quite at the point of needing the nursing home. But dementia only gets worse, and you need to prepare yourself for the time that he will need more care than your family can provide. Now for the update. I understand my judgment, and agree I was an idiot for wanting to remove him from the facility before his antibiotics were done. This day was absolutely necessary, and I realized that he may have declined regardless of how long he was in there. Basically, I realized getting him out sooner may not have helped anything. I guess I was trying to control the situation in desperate hope of lessening his decline. My grandpa ended up staying in the facility for 3 weeks, 2 weeks antibiotics plus 1 week after. After making my initial post, I stopped pestering my family about trying to get him out. I told them I wanted to be more included with what was happening, and they did more than before. I think he had been in there a little over a week when I made the post. He essentially stopped eating and moving around while in the nursing home. He would eat a little but barely anything. He would refuse to get up or sit in a chair whenever possible. His muscles deteriorated so much that it became too difficult to take him to the bathroom every time, so they put him in diapers. Between weeks 2 to 3, my family finally found an in-home care provider. They hired them full-time, and the primary lady is great. Now Grandpa is home. He has lost complete mobility and is incontinent now. He can barely sit up and slides down in his wheelchair because he is so weak. The caretaker is constantly having to lift him into the proper position again. We have no plans to go out to eat with him ever again, which we were managing before the stay. It is simply too difficult to safely move him around that much. His dementia worsened since the stay. He is more confused now and doesn't really follow conversations. I tell him and my grandma stuff, and he will make 1 to 0 comments. Previously it was closer to 2 to 3 comments. He wasn't really having problems with recognizing people or places before, but recently his caretaker told me that he didn't recognize his bathroom when he was in the shower and thought he was still in the nursing home. So that's pretty much it. Cheers and happy holidays. Comment 1. My heart breaks reading both these posts. It sounds like, and I am wondering because I didn't see any clarification on this, that he was diagnosed with late stages of dementia, which would explain the rapid decline. The most you can do at this point is to keep visiting him and try to encourage him to do things he used to enjoy doing, or taking the time to do brain exercises like putting puzzles together with him or pictures that would make him happy. I send my prayers to you and your family during this difficult time. Comment 2. You're the idiot. Wow, your selfishness is astounding. You think you know better than medical professionals? Your grandpa is receiving the care he needs in the nursing home, but you want to rush him out because you feel guilty? It's not about you and your feelings, it's about what's best for him. You're completely disregarding his health and well-being just to alleviate your own guilt. And suggesting that in-home care is the same as a nursing facility shows a complete lack of understanding. Do you really think your family can provide the round-the-clock care he needs? Dementia is a challenging condition that requires specialized care, which is exactly what he's getting in the nursing home. Stop pressuring your family and let them make the best decisions for your grandpa's health. It's time to prioritize his needs over your own selfish desires. Comment 3. Well, just make what time he has left as comfortable as you can. He doesn't sound like he's too long for this world. It's good that he is surrounded by a family that loves him though. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.